if you really want to have a merit-based society, when you see the merit in whatever vessel this comes in, whether that is a fat black femme man or a strong black woman, someone working hard and doing what they're doing, and you're seeing that their work is resonating with people, lean into it, share that experience, and be the example that we need moving forward.
Yeah. Hi. Oh my God, so happy you're here. It's like
I'm
a little reunion.
Be here
Ironically.
At the place where we
actually
first met.
Yes. I was thinking about it. Can you believe it was 2 years ago now? Isn't that insane?
Time is just a scam.
It doesn't
just
make
like
any sense.
the rest of anything in the world. It's
absolutely.
all a scam. Well, and it's just like, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Yeah. Well, you were here doing a performance.
Yes.
And amazing. You were less dressed then.
You know, that was actually going into the decision making for the look, because I was like, hey, last time she saw me, I had a lot less clothes on and a lot of body moving. And I was like, what is dandyism is the theme, for Met Gala. So I was like, let me give a little casual take on it.
I'm here for it. You look amazing. You look amazing.
You too.
I always wear like a different sweater every episode. And I'm like, this is good. Cozy for me.
And it looks good.
Thank
you.
The
look is looking.
I wore like a little bit of color today. Usually it's all black. So I was like, okay.
I decided to go the all black with a little pop of white.
I like it. I'm here for it. But it's so good to see you. Thanks for coming on to be a part of this and sharing your story. I know that you're originally from Texas, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about Texas. Tell me about your upbringing. What was it like growing up in the South? Because it's the South.
It's the South.
Period.
It is
the South.
Texas is the South. I don't know who needs to know that, but Texas is the South. But yeah, it was actually, I was very grateful for my upbringing there. Dallas, Texas, more specifically Oak Cliff. For those who know, you know. If you know, you know. And I was just surrounded by love, by family, by good Christians. And it's just one of those things to where it's really shaped and molded who I am as a human being.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to know that I have a family and a support system that is at least open to learning and growing together, which a lot of people don't get to have that experience. But
people think culturally Texas is all just one type of way.
Certain way.
There's a stereotype, right? But I think, particularly my experience with Dallas has been really nice. They have one of the largest LGBTQ plus churches. They have the most amount of rainbow crosswalks in America.
The most gays per capita in the South.
Isn't that amazing? So that's part of the reason why I love going to Dallas all the time, because it's actually more inclusive than people might think.
So much more inclusive. And obviously, like, as with any quote-unquote red state, there's obviously going to be the challenges and the areas almost like sundown towns almost. Not even almost, very much so sundown towns. But Dallas is such an inviting place. And it low-key wants to be LA so bad. It wants to be LA so bad, especially from a business standpoint.
Sure.
It's a marketing and ad agency hub as well. And it's a business hub for Texas for sure. And I think it's a lot more, for me at least personally, it's a lot more progressive than even Austin.
Yeah, okay.
Because at the end of the day, Austin is the capital of Texas, where the legislative body is, which means that's where all the Congress people are. And that's where all the certain things that go down.
Right. Which I think, it makes the city a little...
That's why it's weird. That's why they say keep Austin weird, because it's such a culmination of so many viewpoints and ideas. But Dallas is just, it's my safe space in Texas, 100%. Houston as well, but that's because my dad's from there. But Dallas, for me personally, when I go back home, I don't really feel the need to code switch or do anything like that, and just continue to be myself.
That's
and
good. I love that.
Head to Cedar Springs and have fun at the Roundup.
Have a good time. I love the Roundup.
It's my favorite.
For anyone that's not been to Dallas, the Roundup is basically queer line dancing.
It's queer line dancing, but it's also like it's like almost a mega club. You have the line dancing, but at 11 p.m.
it switches.
It's turn up time.
Yeah.
It's balls to the wall, literally. And it's just such a good time. Then you have the karaoke bar, then you have the drag bar, and it's just like it's like Six Flags in a club. It's
I love
crazy.
that. Honestly, they should change their slogan. So what brought you to LA then? Was it recent? How long have you been out here?
I've been fortunate enough to be in LA going on 16 years now this summer. It's, again, time is a scam. It's crazy. I don't believe it.
Okay, so you have a local stamp at this point.
I want to say I have a local stamp, but that Texan in me will refuse to do that.
Yeah.
Like, even to this day, you'll be like, oh, what football team do you root for? I'm like, Cowboys, when they don't suck.
Okay,
so,
fair.
That's how deep embedded and indoctrinated I am as a Texan. But yes, I'm definitely, LA is home.
Okay.
That is what I can definitely say. LA is home. I don't imagine myself living anywhere else within these United States at the moment. And it's been a place where I've been able to grow and thrive and learn. And no matter how long you have been here, one thing about LA is it will humble you at any time, even in these good 16 years I've been here.
I love that. Well, I'm from Tennessee originally in the South, a different kind of South, but it's still the South,
Yes, it's still the South, but
different kind of South.
Different challenges. We'll just say different challenges.
I like that. That's a good way of putting it. But there's two things I can't get rid of whenever it comes to, I haven't lived there in years and years and years, but it's y'all. I can't stop y'all, and I love country music. So there's
part of the vernacular.
It's part of it. I'm like, I don't want to say you guys or you all. It's y'all. Put it together. Do you say it? No.
Pronouns.
Like,
they, them, y'all. Absolutely. They, them, y'all. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Not my personal pronouns, but I align with, that's the way I look at y'all. It's like, it's one of those things, even like in my videos where I'm actually speaking or going on and I'm like, hey, y'all. Like, there's no other way to do it.
Okay.
It's just, it's embedded. It's what we have.
Yeah.
It's our little Southern marker
tell me
world.
About coming out. What was that journey like? Did you come out when you were still living in the South, or did you come out when you were living here in Los Angeles? And what was that evolution like for you?
It was a two-part. It was toward the end of my collegiate experience.
Okay.
I did not graduate, but it was toward the end of that experience, I'll say. I went to the University of North Texas. So at the time, I was going through a lot. I had lost a friend to actually an act of violence, which is crazy.
I'm so sorry.
And just me in college were not vibing. And I just honestly didn't understand why. But one of the contributing factors is I was starting to be more self-aware, especially about my sexuality, and bringing up the ironic fact that I was also a youth director for the United Methodist Church at the time. So I had all these different contradicting voices, even though I was in a Christian environment that was supportive of the LGBT community at the time. I still didn't know my way through the space. I was the very problematic bi now, gay later type of thing. And, it's one of those things to where somebody even called me out on it. And once they even said that, I was like, wow. Yeah, it's time to be real honest with ourselves and also not erase the bisexual community in our community as well. And so I started with a friend who I knew was a safe haven, an ally who, through everything that she did, her name was Brittany, and she was a super sweet girl, and she just loved up on me, and it was great, and it was the perfect person to start that process with. And then I started with like the homies, the best friends, the ones I grew up with in Oak Cliff. And the main reaction I always got was like, oh, Dexter, we already knew. I was like, it doesn't matter if you knew. I'm letting you know that I know now.
Yes.
So it's a different situation. And it's also not an assumption anymore. This is something that is part of our now reality. And they were so supportive and so loving, and stepping then into the next phase with the family. The family was a bit tougher. It was a bit tougher. I came out to my brother first. That was not the most inviting conversation.
Is it older or younger?
Older. He's 6 years older. So like, I used that as my barometer, and I was like, oh Lord, this might be a little bit tougher than I anticipated.
Did it come from a place of protection, or was it more of just a misunderstanding?
He actually asked me.
Okay.
He actually, and it was like, again, it was in the, like, during my process, I was like, either I'm going to stand on business or I'm going to, fake the funk and try to just like,
and who knows how long that would last for.
And it was just one of those situations where he came home. We were living at a family member's house at the time, and he was like, Dexter, are you? And I was like, yes, I am. And then it just took a turn. And I was just like, well, you asked me.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
We didn't have to go there.
So we didn't have to go there, but we're here now. So that definitely made me a bit more hesitant to come out to my dad, per se.
Okay.
So then I moved to LA, was here for a couple of months, and it was a situation where I just really needed to share that with him, and I was just terrified. Even in the process of doing it, like when I called him to do it, he was like, oh, I gotta call you back, and I was like, oh my god, he knows, and I'm gonna have like a mental breakdown almost. And then the second I told him, he was like, Dexter, you still my son.
Okay, that's good.
And I'm always gonna love you. And I may not agree, and I don't need to know everything, but you're my son, and I love you, and we in this together. And so it was the most relieving close to that coming out experience, and I'm just so grateful for it. And obviously once I did that, then you did the social media one where it's like, hey, just so you all know.
I did that.
It was very Facebook. It was very Facebook status.
Did you Facebook status?
It was very Facebook status.
I even ended mine with a YOLO. I said,
true.
I just want to let y'all know I'm gay. Boom, YOLO. I said it.
That's it. It was like, as of today, this is what it is. And the rest of my family, who I didn't necessarily have to vocalize that coming out experience with them, it was even more love up on and just understanding, to the point where I was kind of the guiding light as far as like other family members who might be going through this experience. And then they would like, can you talk to them so we can really get down to what's really going on? Because at the same time, a lot of my cousins didn't necessarily have that same affirming experience. And I think for me, it was because I was also living authentically, doing something that goes against all the grains of our family, like moving out to LA, going into entertainment through dance, and existing in a different body and a bigger body throughout all that experience. So
sometimes I think, with fear, I feel like that's where most of the coming out stories I've realized are coming from. It's most time is people have never met a queer person. And then it's whenever you're coming out, it's not necessarily, you're learning about yourself, but now other people have to learn what that means.
Exactly.
Then they have to go and educate themselves, and then they have to go and learn and put themselves in unfamiliar environments, right? Like, I think sometimes that's what coming out stories are so difficult, because it's not just one person coming out. Now, anyone who loves you it's a responsibility to now show up for you in ways that will make you feel seen and heard. And so sometimes that's hard for people to do, especially in places like the South where...
And it's a journey, too. It takes time. Like, that entire process was over almost, I want to say, like 2 to 3 years. Almost 4 years.
Yeah.
To, like, get to that date of where I made the Facebook status. It was definitely one of those things that takes time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's not just a like one shot, you're in and out, you're done. It's like you're growing and you're learning, and you're also learning to be a part of the community in different ways, and understanding that our community also is not perfect as well.
Yeah.
And especially going through that experience, because throughout that time I was not only in Dallas, but I had lived in Houston for a bit of that time, and then obviously moving out to LA after that. So it even crossed state lines,
Sure.
And it's one of those things to where it's like, the more you become comfortable with your lived experience, it becomes smoother, and I wouldn't say easier. I'd say it becomes more seamless.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like that's a better way, because easy is not the word.
Well, I mean, I don't know
for my coming out experience, at least.
Absolutely. I don't know if you feel about that as well, where you're also a public figure, and in a lot of ways, more often than not, you have to come out almost every single time someone sees your platform.
Like even now, like, I more identify as queer as opposed to just simply being gay.
Okay,
And that's just because I'm open to different experiences, like not necessarily exclusively being with a gay cisgendered man.
Yes. Okay.
Like sharing an experience with someone of a trans masculine experience, or sharing an experience with someone who might be a bisexual or pansexual, or along the spectrum of our beautiful rainbow community, and just understanding that all of it is just about love.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I feel like that's something that our community is constantly evolving in itself, our own labels and what that means to us. And I think a lot of times, I always say on the show too, that labels are good when it comes to like community building and ice breaking moments. Like, okay, this is my quick like elevator pitch to you of what my, and then there's so much nuance to it still. But,
exactly.
But I think the problem with labels is sometimes it makes you almost get
confined and too restricted and too constricted. Like the fact that somehow we've reached a place where, we're just going to kick that out.
Right.
God, no.
No.
Who are you talking about?
Right.
We would not be here without specifically the T, you know?
Absolutely.
So it's just, again, our community is ever growing and evolving, and we're not perfect, and we have to learn and grow and evolve over time as well.
I would love to ask you about your journey with religion and spirituality. I know you had mentioned that, you were really involved in church, and I would imagine being in South, your family is also probably very involved.
Yeah.
Was that a part of your coming out journey as well? Like having to, find your place and what that means for you with religion, and with religion that also still celebrates queerness? Or is that, what does that look like?
For me, I grew up with a twofold Christian experience.
Okay.
On my mom's side, they come from the Southern Baptist Black church experience. Okay. And on my dad's side, it's the United Methodist Church.
Okay.
Experiencing both sides of those Christian theologies. And not to mention, in high school, I went to a Catholic Jesuit college preparatory. So I had a complete, well-rounded understanding of Christian theology, which I'm so grateful for, and to have, to the point that before I decided to become a dancer, I was going to be a youth minister. Like I was getting ready to go to after college, I was going to get ready to go to straight theology school and everything. And for me, the main experience that I identified with was the United Methodist Church, just because I was also a youth leader on a district level, as opposed to just the local church. And just getting to know our experience of what we conceive as God through that was really enlightening for me, because the main thing that the Methodist Church teaches is the motto and the creed is open minds, open hearts, open doors. And I was literally living throughout a time, and specifically when I was engaged with the Methodist Church at that level, we were approving same-sex marriage. We were approving whether we would
It was very much in the conversation.
That, you know? And so with my time in the church, it almost passed. But it didn't pass with my time when I was, studying to be and being a part of the church at an administrative level. But it was
very much still in the news, and very much part of the conversation. And
every one of my mentor pastors and everyone that my guides and those that I looked for spiritual guidance were about including specifically the LGBT community within the United Methodist Church experience. So for me, I have such a loving experience of Christianity as opposed to the Christian nationalist experience that the rest of the country seems to be trapped in right now. So for me, it's been a tug of war. And again, because at the time it wasn't quite accepted, that's where my heart was split in two. I was starting to fall in love with performing and dancing. And my understanding and love for the church was just, at the time, it was just that was kind of broken because I knew who I was. That self-awareness was there. But the church hadn't quite caught up to it. And specifically, like my last church that I served as a youth director at wasn't quite ready for that experience at the moment. So I'm very happy with where my life and
That's amazing.
specifically dance has taken me. But I'm just so, again, grateful to have
Yeah.
a Christian experience that did not shame me, that
Yeah.
did not exile me,
Right.
and that did not really have a detrimental effect on my mental and spiritual well-being.
Yeah.
Like today, I still identify as Christian.
Okay.
Very clear to
Yeah.
say Methodist of a
Okay.
Methodist
Yeah.
experience, because
sure.
again, all of the things that I was taught from the Methodist Church as well as from the Jesuit
Yeah.
sect of the Catholic Church, because that's the progressive
Sure.
ones. They're the
Yeah.
educators. They're men of service. And it's one of those things where I'm just so amazed that I got to experience Christianity from a justice lens,
Yeah.
from a service lens, from an
Right.
inclusive lens, as opposed to seeing it as the big bad that will exile you from your friends, family, and community.
And I think, to your point, that is what religion should be, right? Like that is
It's
the basis,
like,
right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, whichever book of the Bible you want to choose from Jesus's experience, a lot of stuff that's happening in the world, that's not what he was living and or teaching.
Right.
Where is the breakdown?
Right.
It really confuses me.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
And even I'm starting to see there is there's a certain segment of society that's starting to say, I'm not a Christian, but
Okay.
I'm a follower of the teachings of Jesus.
Okay, that makes
Almost
sense.
applying
Yeah.
it to like as those people who are my understanding of Buddhism.
Okay, yeah.
You
yeah,
know, it's just
absolutely.
like,
well, it's like a
using the-
moral compass.
Yes.
It's treating people with compassion and love and everything. So from being from Tennessee, we went to Baptist. We were a Baptist denomination, and I remember from a very early age, my representation of queerness was being shared from in church, but as a negative thing.
Exactly.
And so what I learned about queerness and what LGBTQ plus meant, or at the time it wasn't even the T, or it was just LGBT, right?
Yeah.
And at the time it was
or
only
even just grouping those together.
right, absolutely. And it was just always being taught that it's wrong and it's a sin. And I was like, okay, well, that's not me. It's not me. I'm not a bad person, right? And I was
Yeah.
taught that from a very early age. And then as I was getting old enough to start questioning things, I was like, wait a sec, I thought we were meant to be learning to love everyone. Why are we now
That's the part
pulling,
that
and
gets me every single
absolutely.
time.
So-
It's like Jesus, the entire point of the New Testament
Yeah.
and Jesus himself
Yeah.
is to show that there is a new way forward.
Right.
That there is a way to treat everybody with kindness, love,
Right.
and respect.
Yeah.
And love being the most high exaltation of experiencing God, you know?
Absolutely.
So it's just one of those
It's a learning
things to
thing
where
for-
it is, but it's almost morphed into this understanding that even in queer communities, like going to a Beyonce concert or going to a amazing party where the DJ is just letting God move them with the music, and it is still very spiritual, and it is like going to Renaissance for me was an actual praise and worship, not to Beyonce at all,
Right.
not her as an idol, but just the community and the fact that everyone in that space, all 70,000 of us, were just there.
Synced and connected.
Synced and connected in love. And even after her first song, we were all crying together.
Yeah.
To just be in a safe space together.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's what a lot of people misunderstand, even about, certain aspects of the church, especially the Black church. They're like, we idolize these recording artists. And it's like, no, we don't idolize
Right.
them. Just as there's a head pastor of a church, Beyonce or Gaga or whichever artist you connect with, specifically those who resonate with the queer community.
Yep.
It's just, we going to church, we having a good time,
Yeah.
we're singing our songs,
We're hugging,
doing
we're
our
loving,
dance,
we're
we're
everything,
loving,
yeah.
the energy is moving. And it's just goes to that fact that where there's one or two gathered in the name of love or the name of Christ, there they will be,
Yeah.
And
I love
it's
that.
like, it's one of those things to where it's like, let's take what we've actually learned from Jesus and take it out into the world and use it, and also understand that the story of God's people and God's creation did not end at the Bible. We're still living it out right now.
That's so true.
And I think that people don't look at it from that viewpoint.
That's
and they
true,
want to constrain and restrict and tell people this is how you do it. And I was like, the only thing that we need to focus on is love.
Yeah.
And once we focus on that, then we can go and grow together. Like that. It's just, you know,
it's an interesting.
It's a journey, and and it shows that we're all spiritually connected.
Absolutely. Well, if somebody was listening in and maybe they're on their own self-discovery journey and maybe they do want to still stay within their religious beliefs and still stay within the community itself, but they might be struggling with their own self-discovery, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to them?
Find your safe space.
Okay.
Even there is so many congregations now that are the beautiful community of everybody, where LGBT people are welcome to go to Sunday service and praise and worship in the way that they want to. Because if you don't, it's gonna be a tough ride. And if that safe space is at a church that's welcoming, that you want to continue to develop your spirituality and your faith towards God, be it Christian, be it Judaism, be it Muslim experience, be it Buddhism, wherever you find your spiritual connection, follow it and find your safe space.
I love it. You're also, I know you talked about, you know, not necessarily worshiping people as an icon, but I do think that representation is so important. I do think that you're an incredible figure of representation for so many people, truly. And I think, you know, not only as a Black queer creative, but also someone who's advocating for the plus size community and creating change in all industries, whether that's modeling, fashion, dancing, right? Where did your love for dancing start?
My memory of dance begins when my brother was actually teaching me dances to do at the sock hop or the dances that you would have before and or after school.
Okay. This is an older brother, right?
Yeah, older brother. Yeah.
Okay.
But just teaching me what dances, you know, you can do and, you know, have the vibes going.
Sure. Okay.
But my connection and love of dance actually started in the church.
Okay.
I was on an all-male dance praise team. We called it Sacred Dance at my church.
Okay.
But I've been in choir. I had experienced God in all these different ways. But once I danced as a form of praise and worship, it unlocked something completely different. And it also was my first time actually executing choreography.
Okay.
And to the extent of understanding that there needs to be intention behind movement and understanding that there is a purpose to this practice of movement. And so that's actually where it started. And our church, every time we ministered, not performed, every time we ministered, it was just a very surreal, spiritual, experience that I can't even describe to this day.
It kind of goes back to, again, the community and you're in your feels with one another, right? Exactly. You're connected to the music.
The spirit was 100% moving.
Absolutely.
And one of the main things that came out was So You Think You Can Dance. And I caught on for the second season. And someone who ended up actually becoming a mentor to me once I moved to LA, her name was Danielle Denise Jones. She was the runner-up of that season, but she wasn't even plus size. She was just a normal person in a curvier, natural Black woman's body.
And at this time, I would imagine it's at an era
around
where...
2007, it was the first time I've seen anybody that doesn't look rail thin or stick thin as a dancer.
Right. Because at that time, it was the beauty standards were just 100%. So different. Absolutely.
This is when you had to be the most thin, fit.
Yeah, almost at the detriment of your own health, right?
You know, for some people,
Yeah, for some people, sometimes,
But seeing her just live and move so freely and just so damn good.
Yeah.
Like, she was just, every time I saw her move, I was just like, my God.
Yeah.
And perform, and like, again, with this intention of like committing to the movement that either you're given or that you create.
Right.
And it's just something that really spoke to me. So then I started taking dance classes at gyms, because it was like, I don't know if I'm ready for a dance studio yet. Went to a dance class at a gym that was near where I worked at the time.
Okay.
And I left the class and they were like, so when do you teach? And I was like,
oh,
not so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's my first time. And, you know, it was a fitness instructor, not a dancer teaching the class.
Okay.
So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, so maybe I do need to go to a dance studio.
Sure, yeah.
And kept taking classes from different teachers, different levels.
Yeah.
And I was like, I still need something that challenged me. And then I finally found a class where I was struggling boots down. Like, I did not understand the assignment by the end of class. And I was like, this is where I need to be.
Okay, good.
And so then I started training with so many local legends, Jenny Durbin, Kim McSwain, Keith Green, and they had a scout come in and they were like, actually, I want them to stay for this meeting.
Okay.
And after that, it was go time.
Okay.
And it was time to like train with the best of the best in the city, and then go to dance conventions and get scholarships and all different types of things. And then I moved to Houston, and that's when I really understood and started training as a professional dancer. I had a class that I was teaching. I was taking classes almost every day.
Yeah. So it's almost, I mean, it's just an evolution of just getting more and more passionate about it too.
Exactly. And especially with the fact that I was always one of 2 or 3 or the only bigger body in the space.
Yeah.
Because again, there's always this assumption that, you know, if you have a bigger body, you're lazy, you're tired, you don't commit to things, you aren't physically fit. And it's like, come to an 8-hour dance rehearsal and see if I am or not. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I've
and it's
seen
just
you
like,
dance. I'm like, ooh.
It's one of those things.
You don't want to see me dance. It's not pretty.
We've hit a groove or two.
It's not pretty. You'd be like, you need to take another class.
Everybody has their own groove and their own movement. And
absolutely.
I honestly support that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to dance, once I moved to LA, again, I was one of few or the only one in the room. And I was just like, this doesn't make sense.
True.
Like, if my physical body that is bigger is able to execute the choreography and perform on a specific level, why aren't we dancing with the artists that we want to dance with? Why aren't we on the commercials that show everybody at the table? And like, it's just something that's really been a driving force for me. And
well, because 16 years ago was still, even as queer representation, was not very much, right? I mean, there was still new.
When I tell you, I was like, oh my God, I'm in the dance community. I surely can be my full out queer self. Nope.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Okay.
It was my first experience of one, not getting jobs is because I danced too feminine.
Really?
And because they were like, we can either have the feminine or the fat. We can't do both, you know, and that type of thing. So meeting at the all intersections that resonate with me, being Black, being fat, being femme, and I wasn't invited into the space. I actually lost a spot on America's Best Dance Crew because I was too feminine.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was just one of those things to where it was like, or not even was too feminine. I was assumed to be too feminine. Like,
so is this where a lot of your, and I don't know if this word resonates with you, but activist. I mean, I feel like in a way you showing up authentically as yourself is just beautiful activism, whether it's ingrained in every post, but it's just like it's you. And is that where a lot of your drive for being your own trailblazer began? And is that something that you continue to want to push boundaries for?
It's one of those things that I've learned throughout time. My existence is an act of resistance. Yeah. Whether it's, oh, men shouldn't do that. Men shouldn't do this. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, bet. Let me show you. Fat people can't do this. Fat people can't do that. Okay, bet. Let me show you.
Right.
It's just, we are so accustomed and taught and indoctrinated that this is the only way things can be. Yeah. And I'm like, why is that?
Yeah.
Like,
just that question alone changes things. Just that question alone, why?
Like,
opens doors, right?
Why?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
when I was growing up in Dallas and going through my club phase in Dallas, my friends would be like, Dexter, how does this happen? Like, you busting a move more than all of us and sweating, like, hitting it on the dance floor than all of us. And, you know, this should not happen. Mm-hmm. And it's just like one of those things of like, well, it is. Yeah. This is who I am. Right. This is part of who I am. And I think that it's helped me out so much in my journey just as a human being.
Sure, absolutely.
Not just through dance or modeling or influencing. It's just like, just let us be.
Yeah.
I just want to mind my business, do my dance, do my thing, and just let everybody be able to do that.
So as we move and continue to evolve and become more representative of all people and different walks of life and whatever that looks like, what is the direction that you hope media goes in to be more representative of different people?
Just be about the business. Like, don't do it for a certain amount of time. Don't practice tokenism. Don't come to a place or don't make a decision solely because you're focusing on what is the actual financial bottom line.
Right.
It's actually about being intentional about sharing people's stories and sharing people's experiences and giving them the showcase and the space and the money to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, how are we still in 2025 at a place where just from a gender perspective, women still don't make the same amount of money as men? It shouldn't be about that. It should be about, if you really want to have a merit-based society, when you see the merit in whatever vessel this comes in, whether that is a fat black femme man or a strong black woman or a beautiful lesbian or a transgendered lived experience of femme experience, no matter where it is, if you see someone working hard and doing what they're doing and you're seeing that their work is resonating with people, lean into it, share that experience, and be the example that we need moving forward to actually progress. And I think that specifically within the industry, we love to do what's trendy and current and of now, and let's make progress permanent as opposed to just making it a fad or labeling it DEI or whatever the symptoms of this industry may bring.
There was something when we were on the campaign trail that I heard and I've now resonated with so much. If you don't have a seat at the table, then you're on the menu. And for me, I think for me that's why
a lot of people on the menu right now.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, how can we continue to push the boundaries in a way where all people are represented? And I think also the consequence or the effect of that is if they are telling true, genuine, authentic stories, you're actually going to receive better results because more demographics and more people who are actually in tune with that. Yeah.
People can see through the inauthenticity. People can see through those who aren't genuine about the work.
Absolutely.
And it's just something that right now we're really dealing with it on so many different levels and scales and just situations. And I think that, like you said, we just got to be at the table, and if we aren't at that table, we need to create our own.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a lesbian. I can build one. We can do it.
I can learn to build one. I'm a good learner at anything. And it's like, build the chairs, build the seats, and build the community that we need to get through this.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of goes into the next point that I want to talk to you about is mental health. And being a public figure, being online alone, social media has so many beautiful things about it when it comes to community 100%. Building. But there are some unfortunate realities that there's criticism, there's backlash. I don't know if you received this, but we receive death threats, rape threats every single day. It's not something that I want to share all the time, but I think it's important to talk about some of the realities of being a public figure. Do you deal with that kind of criticism and or homophobia and or racism? What does that look like, and how do you protect yourself mentally?
I protect myself mentally by understanding that random comment or that random faceless profile
It's always a faceless profile.
has no idea what my lived experience is. And understanding that it is a fight for life to get people to understand other people's lived experiences. And for me, I just have to lean in on the love and lean in on the light that is coming my way, because it's so much more abundant and so much louder than those negative and destructive voices at the end of the day. Like, how many times I have people always like, oh, it's gay, it's fat, oh, rhino, oh, this, or just really like elephant emojis or hippos, or just, again, dehumanize. There's something about our society, and this is a global thing, that demonizes and dehumanizes fat people. I don't know what it is. It's like, I'm okay to do that. Like skinny talk right now. Like, we can all joke and have a sense of humor, but at the end of the day, people are human beings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they have human lives. Yeah. And they have human struggles and challenges that they're personally dealing with.
Right.
But when it comes to fat people, whether it's physically trying to erase us with the latest trendy drug or diet or fad or whatever, it's just like, being fat for some reason in 2025 is not good enough. It doesn't validate you as a human being.
And you would think that over the last 10, 15 years, there would have been significant more. I mean, there is more now, because I do think when you look back at, for example, America's Next Top Model or things like that, and there would be really harmful practices telling them to make themselves sick or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
And it's still a representation of how people would treat people who would be of different body size, of whatever that might look like. And I do think there has been more progress made, but I would hope that there'd be even more. And I feel like,
we were doing really well for a while. And then, as I like to call it, I'm a victim of the Ozempic craze. Like, when I say my work went down tenfold the second Ozempic was brought into or other weight loss drugs were brought into it. It's like,
would you say it's the new beauty standard is what people are pushing?
It's the new way to get to a certain beauty standard. I will say that. Right. And it's like, I'm all for making decisions, like specifically if you want to, if from a health standpoint, and things just have to change. That's one thing. Like, please do you. Please do what's best for you. Please do what's best for your health. But there's now this stigma. It's like, oh, well, just, like casting directors and, production teams and labels. People are literally like, oh, you're going on Ozempic. It's an industry standard now, like to where people depending on the production or the whatever situation or aspect or industry you're in, it's either encouraged or just straight up flat out part of
the requirements
requirements to do it. And and again, I have no issue with someone maintaining a healthier standard of living. Of course. Like, we all want to be on this earth and experience life together for as long as we can. Yeah. So whatever we need to do that, that is totally fine. Yeah. But I think we're crossing a line to where it's like, oh, because we do have this, then if you're not doing that, then your experience isn't accepted or is on the menu, like you said. You know? And it's one of those things where it's like, no, we're still here. Yeah. Like, I still maintain my health in the best way that I feel like I can. Yeah. And I think that shouldn't be penalized because there's a more convenient way to do something. Yeah. Well,
if there's somebody, listening and maybe they might be going through their own versions of body image and feeling an insecurity or feeling not as confident, what would be something that you would recommend to them?
Don't let, as RuPaul says, don't let your inner saboteur take you down. But also listen to your body too. Your body will tell you, like, hey, maybe today we stretch a bit more. Maybe today we get back to a practice of discipline. There's ways to do everything. Sure. But just mainly, like, listen to your body, listen to yourself, And also don't be afraid to ask for help. And also don't be afraid to talk to someone. Like if it's to a certain point where you might need to have a conversation with a professional, do that.
Yeah.
If you don't feel you're ready for that, have a confidant, talk to them, have someone as a sounding board. Get those feelings externally out so you don't have to deal with them on another level internally.
Yeah.
And I think that also letting them know that you're not alone when you go through this. We all have our insecurities. We all have those things that, you know, we are more self-aware of than we don't pay attention to. You know, like even me sitting like back here, you know, that's like one of mine, you know. Take the time to air that out and, you know, get that out in whatever way you need to.
Yeah.
And also there's physical ways to do it. It's like sometimes it's like, I just need to dance today. So I'll just pick a song and just make up a dance. If I want to post it, I'll post it. If not, oh, well, whatever. You know, it's whatever works for you. Just lean into it.
I love it. And I think in all forms of what you just said, it's doing the opposite of bottling up, right?
Yeah.
Not even just mentally.
Or avoiding it. Yeah.
Because I think sometimes when we hold it all in, we don't talk to people, we don't let loose, we don't get out of our mind and our body, like we don't let ourselves just really explore what these feelings are. It kind of manifests itself a little bit and it gets worse and more.
In so many ways, and then once it does manifest, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and so I think, listening to your body, talking to someone. I think I'm really bad about when I'm feeling down or feeling not really in a good headspace. I feel like I bottle up and I'm an avoidant. I think sometimes just that alone can help you realize, oh, maybe someone else is going through something too.
Exactly. And even for me, like, especially like when it comes to like body issues, that's when I go into like, okay, let's snap a couple of pics.
Okay.
But like, do it like not from a like, oh, woe is me. Like, no.
Yeah. Ooh.
And the body I am in. Like,
no, honestly,
still, like,
I look at some of your photos. I do, and I practice your poses sometimes.
Oh my God, stop!
No, I do, because I have this thing where I go like whether it's a carpet or a picture photo shoot, and I'm like this. But I honestly admire so much how you can pose on a whim. Like you have such a beautiful pose, and I'm like, I got beautiful.
That from it was like a modeling show on the CW. I can't remember what it was, but like it starred the girl who was in Aquamarine, and the opening shot is her like coming alive. She opens her eyes, and then just all of a sudden, like she's in.
Yeah.
And again, that comes from, you know, dance training and like posture and all that type of thing. But just, you know, it's like how to be more confident in the body you exist in now. And I think that like even for those who are going through a weight loss journey, or not necessarily a weight loss journey, but some type of transition with their own physical form, there's always like there's a payoff at the end, there's a payoff at the end, there's a payoff at the end. I was like, no, pay off your daily successes now.
Oh, I love it.
Because at the end of the day, like the body that you're trying to get to, or your goals, or whatever you're aspiring to, you need to believe in yourself now in order to even get to that place.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that that's the main thing that I feel is kind of missed when anyone decides to make any type of change.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now you're stuck in it and you're sulking, and it's like you're not as worthy in the body or in the form you're in now. And every aspect of us as human beings are worthy at all times. And I think that we shouldn't put a date in the future on that. Or we shouldn't put some distant type of thing on it.
Well, it's like remembering to celebrate your small wins is what's going to continue to give you the motivation to get to whatever ultimate goal you're looking for. Sometimes I feel like, and I do this with, you know, little milestones here and there, whatever it might be. If you put such a huge milestone on there, it starts to feel unattainable, and therefore you physically and emotionally you push it away from happening. And I think in a lot of ways, having and celebrating those little small milestones is what's going to actually propel you into doing that. You have such an incredible career. You've danced for Taylor Swift, Katy Perry. You've worked on campaigns like Nike, Verizon, Savage X Fenty.
Oh my
Amazing.
God. Jesus
Look at
Christ.
you. I'm like accolade.
Where's that work now?
what does it feel like to be performing? That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. First of all, Nike is a deep cut, so that's wild work. But yeah, I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
So grateful to be afforded those opportunities.
Yeah.
Just off top.
Yeah.
And I think what really, oh God, wait a minute. I wasn't expecting that. But even in real time of those opportunities, I feel so appreciated. Whether it's with Katy or whether it's with Rihanna or whether it's with Taylor or Janelle, like when I tell you these artists love up on me in the process, like the first time I worked with Taylor for You Need to Calm Down, she gave me the biggest, tightest, loving hug with a glass of Prosecco as well, which is crazy.
What a combo.
With at 11 a.m. in the morning is crazy.
You're like, I need all my hugs from now on. Like that.
And just like sharing conversation and space. And like, even with Katy, like in our down moments on set, she would just check in. She'd just be like, how are you?
Yeah.
And just really invest in who I am as a human being. Same with J-Lo. Like she was one of my first big gigs.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. I love you. Mwah. I was about to get like pushed back in the formation.
Okay.
And I was like, dang, I was right next to her and I'm about to move. And she said, no, I like him. I like his smile. I like his energy. He stays right there. And like, I'm literally off her shoulder in the Poppy music video and Fiat commercial. And it's like one of those things to where it's like when you know your hard work pays off in the room.
Right.
And when you're working with these amazing creatives who have these unbelievable careers and influence and just massive followings and communities of their own, it's just so rewarding to know that they are beautiful human beings inside and out. Last time I saw Rihanna was at a Savage event recently, and the hug she shared and just her saying, I miss you. It's like, it's more than the work. It's more than the bottom line.
I think that's what the beautiful part about collaboration. It's not like I'm working together. I'm not working for you. I'm like, that's it.
Collaboration and cooperation.
You're spending significant time with these people. And to be seen, heard, valued, and not only as a performer, but as a team, I would imagine that feels incredible, right?
And just like also seeing each other beyond the job.
Right.
And like Janelle is so good about this. She's just like, anytime I see her, whether it's at an after party or at another event or anything, she's another one that just comes up and showers me with love. And it's just, I just love the girls and I love the dolls. And, it's the femme energy is in the room, and I'm just so grateful for it. And another one is my Jenna Dewan has been such a light and truly like a big sister, because she's actually from Dallas, Texas, too. Grapevine, Texas. But
so you connected on more than one level on that point. Yeah,
that one. Child, if people
to be
knew,
fair, I've had a crush on her for a long time, so it's fine. Like
the light
back in the day,
the light that Jenna Dewan is illuminating.
And also the reason though that they say I miss you is the light that you're also illuminating. So I feel like again it's a cooperation, a collaboration, as you've been mentioned, and it's just so beautiful to see. And you are creating so much representation for people who are around the world who are looking up to you and being like, wow, I want to do that too. I don't know. It's just, and it goes back to
the blushes.
Well, it goes to talk about those milestones, right? Like, yes, you are now performing with some of these incredible artists who have been around forever, but a lot of people don't realize the 10 plus years that it's taken you, that all the hard blood, sweat, and tears that it took to get you there, right?
Yeah.
All those baby milestones that have now gotten you to this end goal, but there's still so much more to go, which is so exciting. I don't know. I love it. Do you have a dream collaboration or a dream goal project that you want to work on in the future?
I'm ready for television and film.
Okay.
Just straight up.
Yep.
I
love it.
For some reason, there's a stigma when dancers try to enter different spaces,
Yep.
whether it's acting or even being a recording artist. That transition either doesn't connect or connects very rarely.
Okay.
And the one with the acting really puzzles me. I'm like, we're physical performers.
That's
like
what you do every day.
That's literally like that's how I got my first acting job with How to Train Your Dragon Arena. Like I was improvising and doing everything like everybody else in the audition, and then the director stopped me dead in the middle, and he was like, Dexter, his name's Nigel Jameson. He has this crazy accent. He's like, Dexter, you're a bit of a physical performer. And I would love to see you infuse some of that. And I was like, well, all right, balls to the wall. Let's get it. Let's go. And so, like, we're physically performing with our entire bodies.
Yeah.
How you think we can't do that and digest choreo, hours and time of choreo, 8 counts on 8 counts on 8 counts, and you think we can't channel that here and on script and on paper? You can't. You think that muscle doesn't flex?
Yeah.
But I definitely
Would you do script or unscripted?
Both.
Or both? Okay.
I would do. I'm open to both.
I actually, when I moved to Los Angeles, I started taking acting classes, and it was.
And I did, and I've had my fair share of acting classes. Shout out to Lauren Patrice Nadler.
Oh, okay, I love it. It was crazy shocking. I went into it thinking that you are learning to cry or you're learning to put on an emotion, but you are taking every piece of you and
adapt. To a role with your lived experience to support that.
Would you say that there's a similarity there with dancing in a way where you're taking your lived experiences?
100%.
Yeah.
Like the way, like, and especially when it comes to theatrical roles for dancers, like you literally have to embody an entire character in a series of 8 counts for whatever the project is, whether that be like a musical episode of Lucifer or it's, you know, just a little breakdown on a Black lady sketch comedy show. Like you're still acting and you're still performing. You just don't have lines and your lines are your choreography.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where I'm like, A plus B equals C. And I'm like, I can do that maybe with a script or specific direction with non-scripted, you know? And
we're manifesting it's going to happen.
I've been manifesting it for 16 years. Okay. Trust me. It's one of those things to where it's like, and again, like I said, LA will humble you so fast. It's like, oh, I think I got this figured out. Not so much.
And one day, I mean, let's just create it ourselves. Why not? Let's just do
Make
it.
the goddamn table yourself. I'm so about it.
I don't know how I can build a table, maybe, but I don't know about building a show. But I'm sure we are.
We can figure it out.
Find people. We can do it. We can do it. You were also a judge on Come Dance With Me, correct? What was that experience like? And I mean, because you are a multifaceted creative at this point. You do a little bit of everything in a way.
Thank you for noticing.
I noticed. I see you.
You see
Dex,
it. You see it. You see it. I've been trying to be like, when everybody's like, oh, what do you do? And I'm just like, / and hyphen. And oh my God, thank you. That means a lot. When people say, what's been the highlight, that, oh my God, that was definitely the highlight of my career. Because one, it validated, not that I needed the validation, but it validated my voice and my perspective, specifically when it came to my contribution to dance.
Yeah.
And it was during the pandemic. I was just ticky-tocking all day long, ticky-tocking. And because that's all we could do. And one of our agent, like the way our agents are set up for dancers is we have a dance department and a choreography department or choreography creative department.
Okay.
And so primarily I'm in the dance department realm as a performer. So someone from the creative choreography department reached out and he was like, Dexter, can I run something by you? And I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Child, if it's a job, give it to me. Whatever it is.
It's a yes before you
it's
even
a gig.
say it. Yeah.
Give me the gig. Just give me the gig. And he was like, there's an opportunity to judge this show. It's like with families and this type of thing. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then the next day, it's like, so you're on a Zoom with CBS executives.
Okay.
And I was like, what? Wait, hold on. Let's take a break. Like, huh? And the next day, Jenna Dewan and my golden boys, RJ Durrell and Nick Flores, they were like, oh, we're going to do a chemistry test with you and Jenna.
Okay.
And I was like, sure, let's do it. And then they were like, actually, Dexter, you are the final judge on Come Dance With Me. I had never cried from getting a job before, but I was literally bawling on this Zoom. And it got to actually take us to Australia. And just with the natural progression of my career, every big job takes me to Australia. My first acting job with How to Train Your Dragon, we started in Australia. My first big cruise contract took me back to Australia.
Something's pulling you to Australia.
Listen,
it's the spiders.
If things go haywire in this 2025,
you're like, that's
close. My asylum. Yeah, that is definitely.
Can you take me with you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, the answer is yes. Melbourne and Sydney, whichever one you want to go to.
Perfect. I did my working visa in Sydney. I lived there for a year. I loved it.
I would say over the course of time, I've lived in Sydney for about 2-3 years.
Okay, yeah.
And for Come Dance With Me, we were there for essentially like 3-4 months.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
The job itself was so rewarding. One, having your own trailer with your own wardrobe.
Did you have a name? Do you have your name on the trailer?
I did.
Ooh.
I had like,
I mean,
that's
exciting.
Just, take me back or give me a new one.
Yeah. I love it.
Just such a beautiful experience. And to be able to impart what I've learned as a dancer in a different body to help specifically the parents to be like, you can do this.
Yeah.
You have what it takes to perform, to execute this choreography. You know, and have the tools and skills within yourself to do this with your amazingly talented child, you know? And it was just such a well-rounded experience, a wholesome experience. And also to be able to share my femme fabulousness through styling and makeup and hair and get to be the beautiful elevated version of myself. It's just so beautiful. It was just an experience like no other.
Let's say 80 years from now, you look back and you're like, what was the impact? You know, what do you want your impact to be on people that are tuning in and following your journey?
I want my impact to simply be yourself. You are more than enough. You are valued. You are worthy of everything this life has in store for you. Every opportunity is at your disposal. You are included, and not only included, but necessary to this thing we call life. And it's...
Give me chills.
I'm just tired of people not being allowed to be themselves at the end of the day. Whatever experience you want to have, whatever spirit resonates with you, whatever vocation calls to you, like, I just want people to be able to do what they love and have fun doing it and find the light in life and not just be burdened by what other people place onto us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and that's what it comes down to. It's like, why should someone decide how anyone lives their life? Yeah. Whether it's someone of our LGBT community or someone of an immigrant experience or someone who just wants to live on the land that their forefathers and their family gave, that they're indigenous to, you know? And it's
absolutely.
just like, we just need to live together and let everybody live the lives that they want to. And
the more I travel, the more I fall in love with travel, because you meet people from all walks of life, and we all want to love and be loved and feel connected and feel seen and heard and valued. That's what every single person that walks by wants. And I feel like everyone deserves that. I feel like truly everyone deserves that one big shot at love in this life. And I think that is beautiful the way you said it.
Exactly.
Truly.
Just let us live.
Like, yeah.
Just let everybody live.
Can we be?
Can we just be?
Honestly, hate carries way more energy. Love is just beautiful.
It's so stressful. I don't understand it. Like, even if I'm upset at something, it's so draining.
Yeah.
Like, even like, oh, God forbid I get in a fight with like my best friend or anybody that I care or hold with love or hold near and dear. If there's a separation or there's a conflict, when I tell you I am so messed up until that is resolved.
Yeah.
It really is so unnecessary. It is so unnecessary.
I agree with you fully. At the end of every episode, I ask these really random funsy questions, just random.
We love a little round
because I know we always get deep. So I'm like, let's just end on a little funsy question.
A little fun high. Right.
I know you've worked with some amazing collaborators, but if you could switch bodies, switch minds, switch lives with someone for one day, well, who would it be and why? It could be anybody, celebrity-wise, collaborator-wise, anything.
Of the ones I've already done.
No, anyone. That's a hard one. That's everybody in the world. You're like me.
For me, it'd have to be a tie between Rihanna and Taylor.
Okay, yeah.
Because, God, they both are like. I'm like, how do y'all actually and physically do it?
Yeah.
Like, business empires.
Yeah.
And look flawless doing it, but also so genuine and generous all at the same time.
True.
And handling everyone with care. I was just so impressed with Taylor and the Eras tour.
Okay, yeah.
Like, for the first time, like, to see somebody bring dancers to the forefront when it comes to financial equity is top notch.
Yeah.
So I would definitely do that. And also with Rihanna, she's just such a vibe, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Having a good time. For any of your fans, anybody in your audience that watches you and follows your journey, what would be a fun fact, something random that would shock them to learn about you?
I feel like I've shared
much. Everyone knows everything. Parasocial relationships everywhere.
I know. I was like, I feel like everybody knows so much. I won't give too many details, but I'm actually a frat boy, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't need to say which one. I'm a frat boy.
Okay.
Specifically,
we need more
black frat boy, but I'm not going to get into details because it did not end very well. But yeah,
they never do. Yeah,
I was a frat boy for a little bit.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is a fun fact. I am shocked to hear this. Okay, I'm shocked.
I am not a frat boy at this moment in time. But yeah.
Where to follow your journey? Where to follow you on Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Also, where they can follow your upcoming projects.
Hey y'all, it's Dexter, aka Dex Rated, and that's where you can find me at Dex Rated on Instagram and TikTok, at Dex-Rated on the Blue Sky and the Snapchat. And yeah.
Yay. Scripted and unscripted seasons coming soon.
Yes, scripted, unscripted. Somebody book me, put me in for the casting, commercials. She does it all. She's a versatile queen, darling. She's a verse side over here. She's a verse side.
Thank you so much for hanging out and coming on the show.
I told you we were gonna have a kid.
I could go on and on. I love yapping. I'm here for this. This is fun.
Yap all the day. Let's do it.
I love it.
Did we actually hit the times up, or how long has that been there?
It might have been there for a minute, but that's okay. I always see it. I'm like, no, I don't see it. And that's a wrap on this episode of She Comes With Baggage. If you love this conversation, please make sure to follow She Comes With Baggage on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more behind-the-scenes moments. And if you're tuning in from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other audio platform, don't forget to leave a review. I love hearing from you. And your support helps keep these conversations going. And just remember, if you are carrying any baggage, you're not alone. And we're all more alike than you might realize. See you soon.